Alright, take one. Yeah, what's up, people? Here's the other build, like the one of the only other videos on YouTube about Wonderlands Redux, about someone's build. I swear I can't find any other people's like videos about like, any other Redux build. Basically, I think I might like be one of the only videos talking about their build on Wonderlands Redux. Anyways. Let's talk about it. If you don't know what Wonderlands Redux is, it's a mod that overhauls Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and there's only 10 chaos levels for now. Hopefully there's more. Anyways, I'm here to show you guys my Liddy build as a spell shot berserker. So let's talk about the skills. Just a preface, I've never played any other class, but I feel like I don't need to because this class is super strong. I've been like basically tunneling or just pigeonholing into this build, like single-handedly just trying to make this build better ever since I was like level 16 because of this one ring that I got early on from deckhands to helmsman and like Crackhoven, whatever. It's this pirate ship place. Anyways, so I am a spell shot berserker, and the only skill you ever really need is ambidextrous, which basically means that you can cast double spells, which is all you need in this class. Or yeah, basically spell shot berserker is frozen orb. So originally in the Redux mod, this was not included in the Redux mod, but then it got added back in ever since like their first update, and it's probably the best spell that you could use in the game. It shreds like health pools like it's nothing. But let's talk about what you should invest in. So spell sniper, it just increases spell critical hit chance, which is all you need for spell shot berserker. I think I'm just going to refer Spell Shot Berserker as Chillmonger because it's easier to say, alright? So Chillmonger, what you really want is spell critical hit chance. And we'll go into it when we get into the inventory section, and I'll explain why later. You don't really need anything else besides like Font of Mana, which like increases spell cooldown rate. Then you want to get Glass Cannon. This is essential that you get Glass Cannon. What Glass Cannon does is increases spell damage, but your shield never regenerates anymore. That doesn't matter. You gotta ignore shield. It's all about health at this point. So once you get this, you want to invest into any one of these four here. Besides mage armor, you don't want to ever restore your shield ever. You never want that. So spec your leftover points into any three of these until you can move down. So now what you want to do is get high thread count. It's 2 out of 1 for me because of my class mod, but you do want to get this. And then you also want to get imbued weapons. So basically, after you cast a spell, your guns deal bonus damage to that spell's element for a duration. It's not really that much damage, but it's better than nothing. You could get Warcaster, but it's like not needed. I would say it's not needed. It's really just... It increases like your spell weaving stacks. Like it helps you build it up faster, but I don't think it's like needed. So double knot. Whenever you score a critical hit with a spell, you deal bonus gun damage for gun's element. So this is like anytime your spells do crits, you do a little bit more damage. And then you want to get 1 slot 1 kill as well. So the Fate Maker gains increased gun damage and cast speed per stack of spell weaving. So you're gonna be casting these frozen orbs really fast. I don't think you really need it as well, but getting that extra gun damage is okay when you're going on cooldown. I'd say it's not needed, but it's okay. Now, this is what you really want too. So Sever the Thread. Gun critical hits have a chance to instantly reset all spell cooldowns. This class doesn't even need to use guns, but they do need guns just for this one skill. Originally, I'd say if you want to use Mana Well, you could. Mana Well is good if you want to use it for mobbing, but when it comes to raid bosses, it's really hard to get 5 kills to reset 1 spell cool charge. So if you get Sever the Thread, it's 10 times better. I've tried Mana Well. It works really good for mobbing, but I just struggled with raid bossing, like fighting the Maker and all the bosses there. Anyways, let's go to Berserker. You want to get frost damage increase. That's really it. And then you move down. Icebreaker. Basically, you do more damage when an enemy is frozen or when they're, slowed down with cryo. Basically, when they get frozen, this is when you're doing more damage, which is really good. So this is like, hey, there's not enough points to move down. I'd say you can invest in the old ways. 2 points in old ways. So you do more damage when you're close to the enemy, and you get damage reduction. I'd say that's okay if you want to do more damage, but I think this class does so much damage, it's unnecessary. I'd say you want to focus on survival more, which Unyielding does is just regenerates your health over time. You're never going to be enraged as well, so that's the one thing that's really bad about this class is that you just you're just never going to be enraged. That's the important thing. You're never going to be enraged unless you wake up with Relentless Rage. But anyways, let's go back. Now you want to get Cold Snap. This is essential because your frost efficiency increases by 24%. And that's going to tie into our class mod, which is the Tidebreaker. And we'll go into that later. So 3 points here, max out. Then what you want to do is get unarmored defense, which basically increases your maximum health by 150%. Because we're never regenerating shields, the more hit points you have, the longer you'll live. So with that leaves like 1 more point, and then you can move down here. I'd say Blood Frenzy's okay. You can invest in something else. You could like invest 4 points into the old ways instead of getting these 2. But you're just never going to get any health restoration, which means your chances of survival are much lower, but you're doing more damage. So if you want to be like the best defense is the best offense, you can go try that. I've never really done it. I always thought that it was too hard when you can get one shot, especially when your shield doesn't regenerate. So I'd say invest in Blood Frenzy. So now this is a really important skill. You want to get Relentless Rage. So basically what Relentless Rage does is, while you are in Save Your Soul, dealing damage restores your meter. And this means that you basically never go down. You never die, basically. As long as there's an enemy next to you, when you're mobbing at Chaos level 10 and there's a shit ton of enemies in front of you, you never die. Even when you go down for like the 5th time and the timer's going to be like, bam, out. This makes it so you never basically die. As long as there's someone next to you and you cast Frozen Orb, your timer is just going to be infinite. So think of this as more like a way to enable invincibility mode for like a limited amount of time is the best way I would say. A black and white invincibility mode. I'm going to demonstrate what the hardest boss here. This boss is Vesper. In the Redux mod, Vesper is this boss who has... I think she might have one of the highest dealing damage and the highest health pool in all of the Redux mod. And this class can take on 3 of her at the same time. So that's how strong this class is. You're going to go down a lot with this class, but it doesn't matter. You're going to come right back up and you'll be fine. So let's talk about the guns. It does not matter what guns you use. As long as it's fast and you're reloading really fast, that's all that matters. And you just want to have the enchantment of increasing your spell damage by 4% per spell weaving. Melee doesn't matter as well, as long as you have this enchantment. I recommend something like the Nightshade, just because the reload time is really fast and you're shooting really, really fast with so many projectiles. Your chances of getting a gun critical hit is much higher. If you're aiming for the body, obviously, you can aim for the head and get an instant spell cooldown. But this is what I recommend. Or you could also use the Butter Boom. It does a lot of damage, and it's short on magazine size. I think this is also really good. One thing that's really important to know is that you are going to be doing gun damage when this skill is on cooldown. So once you reset all your spell cooldowns, you have 5 seconds to wait until you can reset this skill. So it's really important to have something that does a lot of damage while you're recovering in that. But most of the times, Guns don't really matter. You can use anything as long as it shoots fast, it reloads fast, and it has this enchantment. So again, melee, as long as it has this enchantment, it doesn't matter. So this is the ring that basically made me like focus all in into this one build. I don't want to try any other builds. If it can't take on 3 Vespers, I don't want to try it. Magic Mood Ring. You could get this ring really early on at like level 15, 16. Basically, while your ward is not full, effects are increased by 33%. And you can see how good that pairs with Glass Cannon because your ward never ever recharges. So this is more like a passive at this point. It's a passive. So you're going to have spell damage, and I say substat that you really want is spell critical hit chance. I don't know if it's possible to roll. I don't remember if it's like possible or impossible. I want to say that it is, but I haven't seen it. If you could get spell radius, I guess that's like the next best thing. But what you want is spell damage from these 2 rings. So here is where shields are really important. Originally, I didn't have the agony, and I was still melting things. Agony just makes you kill things like maybe 2 seconds quicker or 1 second quicker. It doesn't really matter. But if you have a Frost Old God is what you really want. What you could get from like, I forgot her name is called. It's like a snake lady. But you want to get a Frost Old God, and Old God, all it does is you do 15% more of whatever element it is. So if you get a Frost Old God, you're doing 15% more frost damage, and that's just passive. But this Pearlescent Shield, which is extremely rare, I just happened to get it when I was farming for the Midnight Wisdom. You don't need a gun, by the way. I was just farming this for fun because I wanted to see if it was possible to get a Pearlescent, but yeah, I got it from Jarwood. You get it from Vesper, but I got it from Jarwood. So as long as you farm, you can farm from Vesper if you want, but you can also farm from Jarwood. This is how I got mine. So basically, the first effect of Agony, it doesn't matter. It's just something about dark magic efficiency that does not matter. This is what's really important. So while depleted, you become ravenous, losing a further 15% max HP, which is why you want to get unarmored defense. Increase your maximum health by 150, so you have like 135% health. But it increases all damage dealt by 65%. And that's a humongous chungus boost in spell damage. That's a lot. So imagine having, 30% of this increased by 66%. So you're doing 30% more spell damage times 66. So whatever that spell damage is, it's like a lot of numbers, right? Plus 65%. That's a lot of numbers. Okay, I don't know what it is, but it's a lot of numbers. So this is the only class mod you need. So if you don't have the DLC for this game, I don't know if it's possible to do this build without this class mod, because this class mod is what makes it all come together. Critical hits, any critical hits, by the way, have a 25% chance to create a water nova that applies soak to targets for a duration, which is exactly why you want to get Spell Sniper. So if you throw out your Frozen Orb, it's a critical hit. It has a chance to apply soaked. And what soaked does is that while enemies are soaked, they're taking 150% more damage from frost. That's really the most important thing. That's what brings it all together. This, you want to try to get spell damage. All damage dealt is really good. If I could change this to like spell critical hit, I would. But I don't think it really matters about what skills you get here too. All that matters is this effect. So now when it comes down to the necklace, it doesn't matter. I don't think any necklace plays like an important role besides getting frost damage and spell shot power. Originally, I was running Skeep because when you die, you want to try to come back up. So I think Skeep is good if you want it. But I just stopped using it because I was like really trying to get that extra DPS with 10% damage dealt. So if I could get like a Skeep with more damage on there, I would. But yeah, so what Skeep does is, basically when you're 50% low health, you summon a Skeep, which you can kill if you go down to come back up. And I think it's okay. It's alright. But you don't really need anything as long as you get frost damage and spell shot power. So now this is the most important. Frozen Orb, the best spell in the game. You want to try to get a ×2, and you also want to try to get a times. I want to say that it does come in times like a 1 spell charge. If you get 2 spell charges, that's even better. Make sure you enchant it as well, and yeah, you can also try to get critical chance to roll on these frozen orbs, but it's really hard. It's really hard. So the thing is, I've never even farmed for this. I just went to the chaos chambers and just kept farming for these. That works too. So I don't even know who Mervin the Wizard is, to be honest. I just got these from the chaos chambers, but I got these really early on in the game, like a world drop. So these are also world drops. But if you get a ×2 with, and then you just want to enchant these, that's all you need. As you can see, the chances of getting them frozen is really low, but that doesn't really matter. So how Frozen Orb works is, look at this. Very slow moving, right? So as long as something is in its, like, you know, area, it's going to take constant damage. So your chances are just always increasing of, you know, getting a critical hit and just doing more damage. So as long as they stay within the circle, you're going to be doing damage. And doing a ×2 is more than ×1. Like, it's much more important because you see how there's 2 orbs? If you could get an enemy in between those 2 orbs, they're taking a, like, you know, 1,000 damage per hit. You know, very fast, huge DPS. I think that's all I have to say about this class. So, I haven't played any other classes, but I also haven't seen any videos on Redux of anyone taking 3 Vespers on at the same time and coming out on top. So, this class, you are going to go down a lot, but that doesn't matter. That's just a temporary state of invincibility, and you're going to come back alive. So, what's really important is, I'd say if you could get a gun, a Torg gun that does a lot of damage. No, that doesn't do a lot. A low-level Torg weapon that can chip off your shield, that's good, so that you can proc Agony, but it doesn't really matter. So Agony is just a way to kill things faster, but you don't need it. I'll show you guys right now. So we're going to take on 3 Vespers, the most HP, highest health pool boss in the game. You just want to do this. Try to get your gun critical hits to restore the spell cooldown, and then you want to just keep doing this. So if you can see, when I was down, my timer like never goes down because I'm always doing damage, right? It really doesn't matter. And look at how much HP that's just dealing. It's just melting it. Oh, and we went down as soon as we took her down as well. That's okay. But yeah, there hasn't been a lot of Redux videos about classes as well, which I think is kind of sad. I want to see if there are any other builds that can do this. Like, I'm really tempted to try out new classes, but you know, there's just so much time in the world that I could do that, you know? So yeah, this is the Spell Shot Berserker build. I'd say that this class could take on Tiny Tina as well. It just takes a while because she moves around a lot, or I should say the Maker. It does have some weaknesses because this is such a slow projectile. You're gonna find that fighting flying enemies like the Cyclops could be an issue, but as long as you go close to them and you cast it, they die instantly. The only thing about Tiny Tina is just stay close to her, or the Maker, stay close to her and just throw this. And then when it goes down, regenerate. It's not that hard. The only other weakness that this class has is fighting Freezicle. Freezicle is this really giant skeleton that ends up, like, you know, all he does is he warps around the room. So if you're throwing this out and Mr. Freezicle's warps, he's negating the damage. He's just running away. That's the only like other bad matchup I've really found. It is doable if you could get him to stay in one place, but overall, this class is really, really strong. Not really that many bad matchups, other than flying enemies. Flying enemies. So there's my class. I hope you guys enjoy it. Try this class out. I haven't really found a reason to play any other classes because of how fast the thing obliterates things. So I don't know. Maybe someone should comment a build down there. You know, just leave a comment of some build that can shred 3 Vespers, and I'll try it out. You know. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll just leave some litty gameplay clips of what this class can do. This class could also take on chaos levels at the max level, always doing elite enemies. Just don't get the roguelite perk, because what it does is it negates save your soul. But yeah, I'm gonna leave some very cool gameplay, and I hope you guys enjoy. Try out this class. Bye bye. Alright, so here is a really bad matchup, right? I'm going to show you guys a really bad matchup. This is Redmourne, and he's a flying dragon. So, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. I haven't found any other spells that do as much, but if you're lucky enough and you can hit him, yeah, it's fine. But it just takes a while for the projectiles to travel to. He does have a phase where he comes to the floor, but other than that, yeah. Anybody? So yeah, it really is not that hard to come back after you die. Oh, now he's coming down, is he? Yeah, so it doesn't really matter if you die. You're gonna cast another spell. Come back up. Boom. So yeah, it could be kind of difficult, but it's definitely doable. Definitely Fyodor is a bad matchup. So the second boss in this DLC is just terrible. He has too many invincibility phases, and it's just fucking terrible. I do not recommend fighting him. If you get him in the Chaos Chamber, just quit and leave. It is not worth it. It takes too long. Oh yeah, and when I was gonna record this gameplay, please don't nerf the Frozen Orb Redux mod. Please, like, please, it's so good. Don't. Alright, that's all. Bye bye.